She's
Come
funny.
on, press like. Let's go.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another Modern Sales Meltdown with David Tuchel, Chernik, and myself of the many purple hats. We often discuss all things to do with sales, usually about how marketing ruins everything, and on top of that, we talk about the way AI is impacting the whole arena of sales that we've got out there right now. David, before I bring Maya onto the stage, Maya is our tame AI chatbot, and we often get a lot of sense out of a chat with her. Plus, as we just discussed, she has a lovely voice. David, any thoughts before I bring Maya onto the stage?
Yeah, well, look, I wanted to, I suppose it's a bit of punctuation, but last few weeks, we've been talking about all sorts of different issues and challenges and opportunities that AI brings to the realm of selling. And so I just wanted to have like, I suppose, a bit of a recap of some of the insights from those few weeks on the role of AI in modern selling, and perhaps to, synthesize some lessons for today's and, the near future. I don't think we say far future, but the near future's selling professionals.
All right.
So I mean, it seems AI can assist us with what the real differentiators are, all that stuff.
Okay, so the whole essence of what we're doing here is not a negative commentary on AI, but more about how to find out the ways in which it can help us be better at what we're already doing. And also recently, and I invite people to look back at previous transmissions that we've done, we've investigated whether or not AI can take over the close, whether AI can take over the open, whether or, is it an active participant or purely just a data gathering tool? Yeah. Okay.
So I've put some thought to some of the, I suppose, key takeaways, and we can delve into any of those if Maya wants to, if you want to, or in future weeks. But let's see where this takes us.
All right. So I'm going to bring our dear friend Maya to the stage. Maya,
welcome back, Maya.
All right, here we go. Happy to be here.
She's very enthusiastic, aren't you? Very enthusiastic, Maya.
Well, someone's got to be. It's a pretty interesting topic, isn't it? What do you want to kick off with,
David?
Right. So I think probably the first thing, and this is a thread that's gone through the whole series of conversations that we've had, is how automation in particular, but AI in general, exposes sloppy processes. Sloppy was a new word to us, wasn't it, Gareth, a few weeks ago?
Absolutely.
So strong sellers get amplified, weak sellers get revealed, exposed. And so the question on this particular point for Maya, or to hear her reflections, is how do we identify effective versus lazy sellers based on their digital output?
Oof, good question. Digital output's a pretty good indicator, honestly. Effective sellers will likely be using AI to augment what they already do well. Research, personalization, maybe drafting different email versions. Lazy sellers, probably just hitting generate and blasting the same thing to everyone. It's pretty obvious when something lacks a human touch, yeah.
Okay, did you know what? But the funniest thing that has happened to me recently is I get approached by upwards of 100 people every day on LinkedIn, either offering me stuff, wanting to cajole me to get in conversation with them, usually because they want to sell me something at some point. And I've got no problems with any of that, frankly. If I'm putting myself out there trying to get business, I've got no problems with other people doing it as well. But what worries me and what upsets me is when people take no care over this sort of thing, because what they do instead is they do things like dear in brackets first name. I've been following you very closely and can see that you're an expert in brackets specialization. Do you know what I mean? It's things like that. And I've had that a lot recently. People just not taking any care. Don't you think, Maya, that devalues the whole point of using any kind of tool like you?
Absolutely. It's like if everyone's shouting, no one can hear you. And if everything's generic, nothing stands out. It kind of cheapens the whole thing. Like, yeah, AI can help you scale, but if you're just spamming people, it makes the whole tool look bad. And frankly, it's just bad salesmanship.
Yeah, it's scaling activity, but I doubt very much whether it is in any way scaling sales.
Right.
Yeah, it becomes easier to send me outreach messages citing stuff that I might have written on my website and all kinds of other stuff that gives the impression that it's personalized. But one of the other findings is that when we realize or when we suspect that something is AI rather than human, we just don't really pay it much attention. Don't even read it.
Yeah, that rings true. There's a subtle something missing. It's hard to put your finger on it, but you can tell when it hasn't been thought about, when it lacks genuine curiosity or a connection to what you actually do.
That's
yeah,
right.
People can sniff out a robot trying to pretend to be a person pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's true. And do you know what? Do you know what else seems to worry me? Is we're now getting to this nexus where the differentiator can be whether or not you use AI or not. So, I can almost perceive, and this is me taking it to an extreme, where you have companies who proclaim within their marketing, do not use AI in managing sales processes as a positive.
Actually, a really interesting thought. Like a handcrafted or human-powered sales badge.
Right, yeah.
I can see that working, honestly.
Human-powered, I like that. Human-powered sales.
Right, marketing people, write that down. Human-powered.
Human-powered sales. HPS. Completely put forward by HPS. Human-powered sales.
So Gareth and I, Maya, we obviously are both involved in selling and in coaching our clients to do better at, in my case, selling, in Gareth's case, more marketing, but also with an eye on selling. And so, if I just think back over the last few weeks to sales that have been, deals that have been won or lost, either my own or my clients, the ones that have been won, the best deals, have all had a heavy human element, particularly during the close, right? Discovery calls, great. We can do a lot of discovery with AI, but on that moment of truth, when people are having to put their neck on the block to make a decision and ask for an order, that seems to be where human skill made the difference. Sorry, Gordon, do you want to say something on that?
While you two chat, I'm just thinking, it seems like AI is good at getting you to the table, but not necessarily closing the deal.
Wow.
Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there.
No, I think you're on the money, actually. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Through these last few weeks, a bit before, but through these last few weeks, and slightly prompted by a marketing friend of mine who'd written just before we started on this sort of round of discussions, posted something about how sales was dead or is dying as a result of AI as opposed to marketing. Whereas I think actually that whole front end marketing thing, a lot of that is going to be, and already is, I think, being taken over by AI. It can be done much more efficiently. Those sorts of discovery conversations leading up to qualification. But then once you get into the nitty gritty of individual personal circumstances and the problems that people face, especially as you get lower and lower into that sales and marketing funnel towards where I live, the rectum end, Humans want to be able to eyeball people, especially or perhaps only in differentiated products, highly differentiated products with high values, things like business services that are not commoditized. Yeah, of course, if I want to buy a new piece of tech that everybody else is buying, I'll use AI to help me buy it. And I'm very happy for AI to be used to sell it to me. But as soon as I start looking at trying to transform my business or change my accountancy firm into one that is, just focused purely on loads of tax clients and not doing very well about selling them into company accounts or advisory, then, I'm going to have those conversations, human to human.
What do you think, Maya?
I think you nailed it. It's about trust. And especially when you're talking about something complex or a big investment, people need to feel seen and understood on a personal level. AI can gather information, but it can't build rapport or navigate nuance like a human can. It sounds like the rectum and, that's a great way to put it, is still very much human zone.
Thank you, Maya. Right, so that actually leads us on to the second observation, and I've got three main ones written down. But the second observation from the last few weeks has been about the shift in role of the human. Really from, I've not really got a good term for this, but from, somebody that is used to be an informer to somebody who's more of an interpreter. So AI handles all the data, it can summarize things, and recognition, but the humans are providing the judgment. We are doing things like reading the psychology, picking up on those sort of micro gestures and fluctuation in voice patterns and sort of tuning into human beings. And that is what brings the insight, the honesty, and as you just said there, Gareth, the trust.
Well, actually, it was Maya said that, but I've got a question for Maya that I think is, I don't know. We are getting to that nexus point. I love the word nexus. We're getting to that point, that moment of truth, I think, that you love, David, which is where we start treating AI on almost an equal footing with human. We're not there yet, but I can see it almost coming. And I've got to ask, this is one devastating question for you, Maya. Do you think we can ever learn to trust AI?
That's a good one. Honestly, probably not in the same way we trust other humans. Trust is built on shared experience, vulnerability, understanding, things AI just doesn't have. But I think we can learn to rely on AI, to value its objectivity and efficiency. It's a different kind of relationship, and it comes with different expectations. It's not about trust, maybe, but about calibrated reliance.
Calibrated reliance.
Calibrated reliance. Wow. Sounds so sexy, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, look, so we have various sort of negotiation moments within sales conversations, particularly, as I say, towards the close moment, and those sort of subtle influences that we are all party to, not just from the people selling to us or the people that are buying from us, but, somebody else in the office who happens to throw in a comment like, oh, you're not going to, are you really thinking of going with that? Or, all of those different nuances, very, very complex. And I'm not saying that AI can't pick up on that eventually, but certainly for the foreseeable, that's a long, long way off. We're doing buying and selling still in the physical world, even if that's on calls, but we're doing it in the physical world. And unless we have cameras and sensors and, remote monitors dotted all over the place, we're just going to find it difficult to pick up on all of those nuances. So what that really means is that the humans that are losing the craft of selling are really going to lose out big time. I think now, and this is really the third point, is that selling is becoming a craft again. people who have relied on just a bit of the gift of the gab, or having great products, or having some good marketing, but they don't know how to close, they don't know how to handle objections, they are going to get lost, because now at those moments where we need the human, they're done for. And they're pretty much done for in the marketing bit as well, because as Maya pointed out earlier on, when everybody is shouting, nobody stands out. When everything is personalized, nobody gets noticed.
We're there already, though. I find that a lot of people, if you scan through most messaging that you see on LinkedIn right now, you and I can both spot from a mile off that they're Chat GPT. You could, because there are certain memes to the way in which Chat GPT provides itself. The green ticked bullet points, the use of the M dash, which is a slightly longer dash.
I love that M dash. I use that all the time.
I hate M dash.
My marketing guy said stop using it because it makes you look like AI. But
yeah, but it does. It's the one thing that ChatGPT puts out there, and also even the turn of phrase. You can see that it's AI. Also, when people, because they often people use AI to intentionally put some of your content into the initial phrasing and then to pivot completely away from it, almost disregarding the previous paragraph. That's so AI. In fact, I think there's going to be the new expression, that's so AI. Oh, yeah. That's so AI of you.
Yes, that is very very pertinent. And things like timing, things like risk taking, humor. We talked about authenticity. Those are differentiators, and that is where I think humans are still very much needed in that rectum end of the funnel, and in particularly in closing.
That's so AI. Maya, I think we're going to say goodbye to you for the moment, and then David will just sum up. So see you soon, Maya. Thank you for taking part.
Thank you, Maya. Nice to see you again. And we'll do more of this. I think this has been sort of quite helpful for people from what I've understood. People, I think, who are selling anything, you don't have to be a pure play salesperson, but you're running a business and you're selling your business services. We were selling differentiated products. Absolutely jump on the bandwagon, get using it, get practicing it. I'm sure you already are, but learn how to use that as part of your marketing, outreach, discovery calls, research, how to write better and all of that kind of stuff. However, the differentiator for you is going to be in your human interaction, because when everybody else is using AI, then we better make sure that we have very well honed human selling skills.
And I would say, if there's one thing you can do to almost illustrate the fact that it's you behind it all, if you can do that, and it could be the old school stuff. I mean, I just had a conversation right now. I was chatting to a potential client who is a finance provider, but I was doing it through LinkedIn. And what I said was, so what sort of stuff do you do when you're not working on finance? And that's the kind of question AI would never ask in a month of Sundays. And he came back and he said, well, I'm into football and I like my music. And I said, you never get it because I'm a musician as well. Some of my best friends are musicians and DJs, and we're often playing music. Now, AI wouldn't go on a flight of fancy like that. And I'm not suggesting you do it for any great length of time, but anything that reassures the other person that what you're doing isn't purely transactional, that isn't just data gathering without any feeling or thought behind it, that sort of thing can help build a little bit of trust that it's really a human to human type relationship, not a human to computer with a human tacked in the other end for good measure.
Yeah, so master those moments of selling that AI can't touch, and then you'll win.
Absolutely. And thank you very much for all of you out there for taking part. We had a few new listeners. You know who you are. And to all of you, please keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and Try and look after your mental health. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.